What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to our late night news roundup here on Anfield Agenda, where I'm going to take you through the developing story around Hugo EKITIKE. Are Newcastle gonna make a play for Liverpool's target? We're going to speak about Luis Diaz and why the Echo refused to give us any credit, even when the journalist involved does. More on that in a moment. We're also going to be talking about Liverpool's gesture to retire the number 20 shirt and lots of other bits and pieces over the next few minutes. You know the score. I want to know your thoughts, so do let us know in the comment section. Drop a like on the video if you enjoy it. And of course, we'd love you to hit that subscribe button. A little programming announcement. We won't be live tomorrow night. We are out tomorrow for a bit of company business, but we will be back for the game on Sunday against Preston, where we'll start our coverage from 2:15 p.m. Right, let's start off with the announcement for Liverpool Football Club this evening. It reads, Liverpool FC will retire the number 20 jersey across all levels of the club in honour and memory of Diogo Jota. Of course, I join everybody in agreeing with that sentiment, and it feels like a fitting tribute to Diogo. Also, eagle-eyed Liverpool fans have been spotting some squad numbers in training. Anything Liverpool posted to say looks like Wirtz will be wearing 59 and Kirkes 57 for pre-season. Now, for what it's worth, I don't expect those to be the numbers that they wear for Liverpool next season, but I think when we get the Adidas announcement on the 1st of August, you'll then see the real squad numbers. This could just be a placeholder, of course, for the friendly against Preston. Right, so let's get to the Echo. As you guys know on here, I always acknowledge where stories come from because it is the decent thing to do. Even though the Echo have ignored our existence as a channel since day one, I still quote and give credit to their journalists who love to cry arse and moan when people misquote them or don't give them credit. Well, let's talk truth here, Echo, shall we? So we put out an exclusive today about Luis Diaz having talks with Al Nassr. And even Sasha Cavalieri, a journalist, said, our friends at Anfield Agenda mentioned it. Al Nassr made initial approach to gauge Luis Diaz's intentions. No official offer, just an informal inquiry to see if the Colombia might be interested in playing Saudi. So what then happens? The Echo run a story that talks about them, that talks about Sasha Cavalieri talking about Luis Diaz and Al Nassr, once again ignoring our existence. You are petty to the extreme and an absolute disgrace. Credit people for the work or just stop calling yourselves journalists. We already know what Liverpool fans in the main think of the folks at the Echo. But when you just refuse to flat out acknowledge my existence because of a personal pettiness, shame on you, folks. Shame on you. That's what and I never thought I'd be taking the high ground here, you know, because I always credit Paul Gorst or any of the Ian Doyle, any of the lads at the Echo, because it's the right thing to do. But it seems like petty politics is, well, above journalistic integrity at the Echo. So perhaps start giving credit where it's due or stop complaining when others don't give it to you, folks. Let's move on to a little bit of Champions League news now. A bit of a change. Remember last season, Liverpool finished top of the Champions League group stage and we didn't have a guaranteed second round at home all the way to the final. Well, that is changing. So this reads, teams ranked first. Oh, by the way, the irony of this is I read this in the Echo earlier on, by the way, just to put the credit out there. Teams ranked first, second, third and four are guaranteed to be at home for both the round of 16 and quarter-finals, providing they progress. If they're eliminated, the side that knocks them out are in the round of 16 will claim the second leg at home. Meanwhile, only teams who finish first or second are guaranteed home advantage in the second legs of the semi-finals, provided they get there. So, a bit of a mix-up in Barcelona, it seems, around interest for Luis Diaz. So Mundo Deportivo say that some of Barcelona's decision makers behind the scenes want to go for Marcus Rashford and other ones want to go for Luis Diaz. So the question is, what happens here? Rashford, as we know, wants to go, and I would dare say Diaz might want to as well. But we also know of interest from Al Nassr, thanks to us here at Anfield Agenda. You're welcome, Echo. And fair play to Sasha Cavalieri, by the way, for at least acknowledging us. Or do we end up seeing a situation where Bayern Munich come back with a higher offer for Luis Diaz? Truthfully, and I don't know this to be a fact, it's just my reading of the situation, it feels like Liverpool obviously want Diaz to stay and they will only listen to an offer that takes him away from Europe, let's say, to the Saudi Pro League because they wouldn't be strengthening a rival. That is my best guess as a fan at looking at this, and I do think that well, I do think that Diaz is angling for a move away for what it's worth, but will he get one or not? Well, that remains to be seen. Fabrizio Romano has been speaking a little bit about Newcastle and their interest in Hugo EKITIKE. Now, my personal belief is that Newcastle want Hugo EKITIKE because they want another striker. We know that they'd looked at João Pedro before he made his move to Chelsea. Now, there's no denying that they've had a long-held interest in Hugo EKITIKE as well. They looked at him previously. So I don't know if this means if they bring in EKITIKE that somehow pushes Alexander Isak closer to the exit door. But what it will give us an indication of is Liverpool's interest in Hugo EKITIKE. Will we sit back if Newcastle start to make a bid for the player and maybe start to make some progress in negotiations? Or are we waiting to see if there is any glimmer of hope for Alexander Isak? The truth is, I feel like Isak is very, very unlikely. But if Darwin gets sold to Napoli, and that could be inching a little bit closer, they are believed to be getting close to Liverpool's €60 million valuation, which is, I think, a fair one, about £51-52 million. If Napoli get to that number, then maybe a deal could be done. On that, it looks as if Galatasaray have come back to Napoli once again with an offer of €75 million, €40 million up front, said Fabrizio Romano, with €35 million added on to try and get that deal over the line. If they do sell him, then they would, of course, have money to bring in a striker. Some reports said they're looking at the kid from Udinese. I don't know if this is a bit of brinksmanship, but they put a lot of groundwork in for Darwin, so it would be weird to lose out on the deal over €5 million. So that is currently where we're at with the latest. Obviously, we know that young Rio is going to sign a new contract next month, his first professional contract with the football club as well. As I mentioned, we won't have any content coming out tomorrow. We will be live from 2:15 on Sunday for the game against Preston. If you're going to the game, by the way, Liverpool and Preston have asked that people be in their seats at 2:45 because there are going to be some dedications and stuff around Diogo Jota. There's going to be a wreath laid in front of the Liverpool fans, and there's going to be a singing of You'll Never Walk Alone as well. So if you are going to the game, hope you have a good afternoon and what's going to be obviously a very emotionally charged one. We'll be back then for the game. We'll do the watch along, and then we'll be back on Sunday night for a bit of a news roundup. No live stream tomorrow, as I mentioned, because we have a bit of a company meeting, but that is pretty much where we're at. And one topic that was asked to me tonight again is around the left back situation. People wondering, will we see movement for Costas? I think, and again, I don't know this to be a fact, I'm just looking at this as a fan, you have to see what happens with Andy Robertson. If Robbo's happy to stay, then I would imagine that you will see Costas moved on. Other than that, we pretty much are where we are. We need to figure out what's going on with Rodrigo and Canade. Do Liverpool have an interest in Rodrigo? Would it be worth maybe trying to pull Canade as a part exchange? Because reports in Spain today suggest that he wants to move to Real Madrid. So that's where we're at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. But as I mentioned, looking forward to reading your comments. I will be back with you guys tomorrow with some videos, and then of course on Sunday for the watch-alongs. Have a wonderful weekend. Keep hydrated and make sure you use plenty of sun cream if you're in the sun. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.